Welcome everybody to what week are we at, Eagle? Fifth, sixth. I feel like we're at
I want to say seven.
Seven. All right, the seventh week, the seventh episode of the Third Period podcast, the only podcast produced by the NBHL. I'm your host Darren Basmajan. With me, as always, is the Bulgarian brute Vasil Neshev, and a new member has been added to the team. We made a trade deadline acquisition.
Waiting for my nickname.
That's it. Well, I'm gonna have to come up with one, or maybe you can help me with that. I don't know you well enough yet.
Right on.
Chris Clement, a guy who's very, very well known in this league, who's done a lot. And Chris, I'm sure most of the guys watching will know who you are, but for those who don't, maybe introduce yourself.
Yeah, for sure. So I've been playing the league pretty regularly since 2011. I think I played against Vass actually in my first season in the league.
Yeah.
Since then, I've been working as a league referee. I work as a timekeeper too. Some of the funner or more fun jobs, I guess you could say, in the NBHL. But yeah, run a couple of teams. Love the league, super passionate about it, and really appreciate the chance to be here with you guys.
All right, well, we're looking forward to adding you to the team, and hopefully, if all goes well, we'll never have to see Rayhan again.
Yeah, I feel really good about that one.
So, Eagle, before let's introduce, we're at the Sportira Cage as always. Thanks for them for hosting this podcast, and Eagle at Master Control. Thanks for turning those knobs like you only know how. We're gonna do a bit what we've been doing, what we did last week. We're gonna go over. We've got the G League, the H League, and the I League, and we're finishing off with the J League, in which Chris is a captain or just play.
My brother's a captain, so
Okay, close enough. He's a co-captain.
Yeah, we'll pretend he's the captain.
Okay, all right, sounds good. So we're going to go through those four leagues this episode. We're going to do just like we did last week. We'll take a look at the standings, give it like kind of an overview, a look at some of the surprises, teams that are doing as expected, look at some key matchups, talk about some key players. We're a bit crunched for time, so if we go fast, guys, don't, it's just, we've got a lot to get through and we only have so much time. So let's jump into the G League here. Start off with the Piranhas at the top of the standings, then the Muffin Stuffers, the Diamond Hawks, the Shockers, Studs, Blackhawks, Broadway Bullies, Old School. Those are the 8 teams that are in playoff position right now. It's a 10-team league, and the last 2 teams are Damned United and High Chicago. So starting off at the top, the Piranhas, the Muffin Stuffers, the Diamond Hawks, and the Shockers. For me, those are the top 4 teams. Vasil, what are your thoughts so far on the top part here?
Yeah, they definitely are the top 4 teams. I also, however, see Studs maybe replacing Diamond Hawks before the end of it. They've been playing really well recently, the Diamond Hawks. I saw them beat the Broadway Bullies, and their top player, Remo Tarashi, is really lighting it up. And the Studs kind of fell off the pace they had before. However, I see them winning the last 3 games, finishing well over 500. All these 5 teams are obviously not mathematically clinched, but they are in the playoffs, it's safe to say, and now the rest of the games are going to establish who the matchups are going to be for the playoffs.
Chris, your thoughts on this? I mean, any surprises? Everybody doing as expected? What do you see in this?
There's a little more disparity in this division than some of the other ones we've been looking at lately. One of the surprises for me would be Damn United. This is a team I played against last year. Have a couple of elite players. We actually beat them in the finals of the I League last summer with the lads. Alex Corriveau was one of the best players I've ever played against. The guy can snipe from anywhere. I think them so low right now is a bit of a surprise. I think they could turn around. I was looking at some of their matchups too, which I'm sure we'll look at in a bit. Piranhas, this is a team that Vass and I have both played for.
Right.
Traditionally, they're always in the running, but I think they're having a heck of a season this year. Added a few weapons, so I think it may be a surprise that they're at the top. No offense to our buddy Jeff House here. And finally, just Blackhawks. That's a team I managed last year. They got some elite players on their team too. They still have a good record. They're in playoff contention, but I expected them to be a little bit higher. They have a few guys that add some depth, like a guy like Mike Jolie, for example, played a great level of hockey as a goalie. He's there as a player now. Guys like Sean Fox and guys like that. So a couple of surprises to me so far, but I think it's kind of playing out as the script would suggest.
All right, well, moving down the list, then we've got Blackhawks, Broadway Bullies, Old School, and then we get kind of to that bottom, the bottom spots here. And like I mentioned, top 8 teams are going to make the playoffs in the G League. So that leaves Damned United and High Chicago on the outside looking in. Obviously, it seems like Damned United are really in that position. High Chicago, I mean, with only 3 points, they're a bit far back to really make a push at the end.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for High Chicago. I have a lot of respect for the guys on that team. Played against them almost every summer, and I mean, the Broadway Bullies played them this week, and they had like 6 guys. You know, they had no guys, no bodies, none of their top players. I think they kind of wrote their season off, so it's safe to say they're not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Vas, I want to interject real quick. I managed them the other week. They played
Right.
the Shockers, who are supposed to be, if not one of the top
One
teams
of the
in the
top
division.
for sure, yeah.
They had a 4-0 lead, and unfortunately for them, Shockers came back and tied at 4-4. But looking at their record, what they showed with the amount of guys, it's really too bad they're so low, because I think they got a lot of respectable vets there too. Yeah.
And look, 3 ties. Look, we've spoken about it in past weeks. A tie just an inch away from being a win, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, those games could have broken a bit different, but now it certainly seems like it's too little too late, although miracles can happen, right? You always got to believe. How about Old School and Diamond Hawks? I think that it looks to me like those, Old School and Dam United. Seems to me like those are going to be the last 2 teams jockeying for position. Is that what you got as well, or do you see anybody else dropping down?
I mean, I wouldn't even rule the Bullies out of there. They lost last night to the Shockers, so they're under 500 as well. It's going to be a tough battle till the end, and I wouldn't say any one of them is too far behind not to make it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's a few big matchups. The Bullies are playing the Shockers as a rematch on Monday. That's going to be a huge game.
And Bullies play Old School on the 20th, so that's another big one to look out for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk about matchups then. You guys kind of jumped into it. Any you mentioned some of the big ones. Are there any others that you haven't gotten around to?
It's not so much a big one. It just, I would love to see this game, and it's just the 2 most experienced teams in the league, the Studs and the Piranhas, very similar styles. They're playing each other on the 20th.
I highlighted that game too.
Yeah,
I might go watch that game.
Yeah,
Sees that many high-class veterans.
Yeah, if you look at the all-time
It's,
scores, I mean, there's like 15 names within both teams that are in the top like 50 or something. It's unreal there.
insane.
So much knowledge, just not that much mobility, you know. So it's going to be really interesting to see which one could come on top as far as veteran experience.
And it is interesting because you have a middle-of-the-pack team record-wise with a lot of experience, and then you have a top-level team. But those guys with experience, they know that on any given night you can turn things around.
I'm telling you right now, Darren, not fun to play these guys in the playoffs.
I bet.
Played Norm's teams and Jeff's teams, whether it's Vintage or Piranhas or
the boys or the Mess
boys, anybody
or,
maybe not the quickest team, but ball control is such a factor in the NBHL, and this is not a team you want to go up against in the playoffs. So.
All right, so we'll have to see as the playoff picture is shaping up very, very rapidly. Key players, guys. Give me some players that either we mentioned earlier, Vasil,
I
mentioned
Remo Tarashi for Diamond Hawks. Scored a hat-trick against the Bullies when I watched him play. I've seen him play in the past. I'm sure you have too, but never with so much offensive flair and this much. I've never seen him this dynamic.
You can't catch the guy.
No,
It's
he's so
ridiculous.
athletic. He doesn't really look like a hockey player.
He likes to take it down the wing pretty hard, and maybe inside, not I'd say not the best hands, still got good hands, but his game is all about speed. So I agree with you there. And
it's nice to see him kicking into top gear, and I mean he's leading the league in scoring, leading it in goals. It's impressive to see him actually get, I almost want to say, greedier and try to score more goals. Because I've seen him run this fast before, but never actually be as dynamic enough to
not drive the net,
not bring his team from the bottom where they were last time we talked about them to third place, 6-3-1.
Yep.
That's purely him right there.
How about you, Chris?
I mean, I mentioned Alex Corriveau. I think he might be the most elite scorer in the league, despite his team doing so poorly. And I think there might be an argument there for managing your points and your resources, whether you add a couple of great players or you kind of balance it out. Another guy I think can't be underrated here is Eric Larson, right? He got added to the Piranhas. Jeff Howell's teams always have a steady core with guys like Eric Goldie, Foglietta. He's added a few good veterans to that group, but I think Eric Larson is a guy that I think he can score from probably halfway across the rink. Like the guy's shot
at least once a game.
So he's a big impact player for me. I had Remo on my list too, and Alex Corriveau I think are the big three to look out for scoring.
Yeah, Corriveau, by the way, I think it's safe to say has the best wrist shot in this entire division.
It's crazy.
His wrist shot when he's running is just it's intimidating. It's harder than most slap shots.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't get it. Are you advocating blocking that shot or not?
I honestly
would
not.
You would not?
No.
There you go. There's a guy. But mind you play defense, right?
It depends. Yeah, every time I played against Alex over the last 2 seasons, because I played against the Lads and Dam United last summer, I played forward. So I haven't really had to face his shot.
Yeah, so let's see.
In a higher division, obviously, I'd probably have to block it, but I wouldn't elect to. I would choose to just get beat and look stupid rather than try to...
Sorry, I was a step away. I couldn't make
too fast.
That's it. All right, guys, final thoughts. Actually, before we get to final thoughts, I want you guys, like we did last week, let's make some enemies.
Okay.
Who's making the final spot? Who's ending on the... We know that Heights Chicago is looking very unlikely.
Right?
But who's going to be the last team eliminated aside from them?
It's going to be really close between Dam United and Old School. And like Chris said, there's a big matchup, Bullies and Old School coming up. I want to say Dam United is going to make it in. Old School is going to be out.
Chris? Make some enemies.
I don't want to say Broadway bullies because then I'll have an enemy right across the table, right? But I looked at 11 power plays and 30 times shorthanded. That might have to change if they're going to go anywhere in the playoffs. But I think I think Old School has the depth and the experience to make it in. I'm going to disagree with you, Vass. I think Dam United is just going to rely too much on Corriveau to get things done, and it's not going to be enough. So it's tough to see a team that I played against in the finals this low, but
yeah, it is tough to look at them.
I see that
they have so much flair, but
I see
like
the 8 to 5 seed mixing around maybe, but I don't think I think it's staying relatively the way it is. Yeah.
All right, guys. Quick final thoughts, and then we'll move on to the H.
I got Steve Richko winning the Norris Trophy. He's having a heck of a season for the Piranhas. Yeah. He doesn't usually put up that many big numbers, but he's got a heck of a shot and a really smart defenseman. But this series, point a game, and he's a standout defenseman for Piranhas. We're the first place team. I see him taking the Norris.
Chris, final thoughts. Put yourself on the line here.
Well, final thoughts. I was just going to say it's always interesting to see a division like this where you got some teams that have really strong ball control versus really young, quick teams. So I think those are interesting matchups, and it's kind of hard to pick a clear-cut winner. As much as I know you want me to make enemies, and
that's just what I do.
That coming in. But in any case, like I said. If goaltending or defense does win championships, then I'm looking at a team like maybe Blackhawks to make a move here, because not only do they have Mark Ronaldo in nets, but they have a guy like James Eade who can fill in. So that's my dark horse team. Let's say that's my final thought.
All right, I like that. Good. I like it, guys. You're getting there, man. Take chances. Let's go. G League. We'll see you in the playoffs. H. We've got Ruthless at the top of the list, then Killers, Mighty Pucks, Disciplined Daddies, Van Buren Boys, CTH, Montreal Rebels, and Frenchies. That's your top 8 as of right now. Those are the playoff teams as of right now. Then we have the Monstars, who are just 1 point out of the playoffs, and then SkyTag, who is winless, unfortunately. Not much to say. It's not a great season for them so far.
Pretty new team, though, I think.
Yeah, they're all young. I know one of the guys, Pat O'Neill, and I have a group chat with him where every week he's scrambling for a goalie. So they're in trouble.
And that goes to show why they have the league's worst goals against.
Yeah, and they have some good young offensive players, but you're not going to win games by just scoring goals. So
take it as a learning experience.
Exactly. They're there for fun anyways. They play high-level ice hockey. They're really just there to run around and chase the ball. So it's I'm sure they're not heartbroken about it, but it's safe to write them out at 0-9.
Yeah. All right. So let's give a look at the league here. Chris, let me start with you this time.
Sure.
What has gone as expected, and what has surprised you?
Well, I think, again, like this league, even more so than the G, there's a little more disparity between teams in the upper class of the division versus the lower. Big surprise for me, this is a team I've actually seen a few times, and traditionally maybe a bit more of a physical team and get into penalty trouble, but Killers are having a heck of a season. Like, what is going on here? I looked at it, and I actually managed them one time. The biggest factor for them is adding the Gagnon brothers. They added Connor and Trevor Gagnon. Connor's a kid who played really good level of hockey, played in the Q at one point. I'm not sure where Trevor played, but have these guys out there with a guy like Chris Retsinas. It's
Chris, oh my God. The speed on that guy.
Maybe the best points per game in the league. Chris,
all time you would say? Maybe, he's very close to it. I would say it's Pat Bachand from what I remember. But definitely up there. I mean, he doesn't play in much higher divisions, but he's guaranteed 2 points a game. It's crazy.
So they're a big surprise for me. They are giving up 5 goals a game.
I was gonna say this has got to be an exciting team to watch because they're
winning 7-6, 5-6-5. You know,
I'm on board, guys. I like that style.
Yeah,
because I could never do it. But
so they're a big surprise for me. I think they could follow through if they adjust maybe defensively. But another surprise for me is the Monstars. This is a team that is not doing too well right now. They have a slew of veterans on that team. Talking about Sean Fox, Jason Reddy, maybe the best overall player who's played in the highest divisions in this particular league in Mikey Knopp.
Yeah, surprising, very surprising.
Saw them play, again, investing so many points in one guy. I don't know
if that's the best strategy. Yeah,
it depends. So again, points management and depth, but to me these are the 2 big surprises so far.
How about you, Vasil? You echo the sentiments?
I hate to just agree, but the Monsters for me are surprising as well.
Yeah.
I'm also surprised to see the Disciplined Daddies falling down a little bit, as well as the Van Buren Boys. You know, such high-scoring teams that have so much offense, falling to just, Van Buren Boys under 500 and Disciplined Daddies barely over 500. Those would be the 2 surprising ones. I'm not surprised at Ruthless being at the top with Dave Mello and nets, 2.2 goals against over 10 games.
How many years have they been first, and they're still looking for that elusive championship? So I think with Dave and nets, that could happen.
Well, maybe this is the year. Maybe this is your. You know what? I'm going to come back and we'll see if that's your prediction at the end of the day.
All right, fair enough.
All right, let's look at some matchups, key matchups that are on the docket here.
Discipline Daddies, Van Buren boys. I would like to go watch it just because I assume that game's going to be like an 8-8 draw or something like that. I mean, look at the top scores in the league. You got Discipline Daddies, Van Buren, Discipline, Van Buren. Like they're crazy. Their points per game. They have 3 guys on Discipline Daddies that have more goals in games.
And let's be honest, they're 2 teams that are maybe in the middle of the pack, but they're both fairly comfortable in their playoff standing. But it's good to kind of place yourself and say, well, look, I'm the better team, and you want to get in last few games here. You want to get some momentum going as well, right?
Yeah. Now that was the interesting matchup, but the important matchup I have is Frenchies versus Monstars on the 21st coming up.
That's the de facto playoff game, right?
That is the winner that should be in the best position to make the playoffs.
Yeah. I have SkyTag playing Frenchies and then Monstars playing Frenchies. If this team's going to make it in, these are must-win games because if you look down the schedule, they're playing some more competitive teams as we go. Another big game, I mean, just if you want to see I think the 1 versus 2 as it stands is on the 21st. We have Ruthless playing against Killers. So, you know, as much as I love Dave, we'll see if against the Gagnon brothers
we can
withstand that, right? Yeah. So that's what I pointed out. Montreal Rebels. They're playing 4 pretty tough games to close out the season, so they're going to have to put some wins together too. That's something to take note of.
All right, key players.
Key players. We didn't mention them by name, but the top guys for Discipline Daddies and Van Buren boys. Ryan Rourke is currently leading the league. 3.5 points a game. That's really impressive. But I have as far as like the top player for me right now, Ryan Finnerty. If Van Buren boys do win the last few games of the season, it's on him. Hopefully, he's 26 points in 8 games. It's unreal.
I haven't seen him play too much. He's a really good player.
He's a very good player. I believe he's played in higher levels as well.
Okay.
I want to say I saw him play for the Ligers in 2010, and he finished top 3 in scorers.
You're digging pretty deep there.
Yeah.
But you know a few of the guys he's played with in the past, Van Buren, Ryan Kelly,
I know
sure
a few
the
of those
Sweet Chin Music guys.
Yeah, I was looking at their roster too, and actually Chris Catalonia, I believe, is one of my good buddy Rick's brothers.
Ricky's brother, exactly.
He's good goalie back in his day, but he seems to be putting up points too.
Good, yeah.
How about you, Chris?
Well, on my side, I got the entire line for Discipline Daddies. I think Ryan Rourke's surrounded by Adam McSweeney and Blair Kleiman.
Right.
Those are guys that traditionally, whether it's with Flaming Homers or Stacked, they're elite players. I know Adam's in the Hall of Fame. I don't know if Blair is, but
if Adam is, Blair will be soon
to be. So that entire line is really scary to play against. When you're investing in one player, it might be tough. When you're investing in a line, you have 3 players out there that can control the ball. That's a huge thing, a huge factor. I also have Dave Shipman playing for Ruthless.
Yes, first place team. It's normal that when you have that good of a goalie, you need a top scorer to kind of back him up and give him that chance to steal the game every game.
And I mean, Dave Shipman's a guy that, again, is a really good scorer, but what I admire about him is his ball control. You see him take it through the neutral, and he's a guy that's not afraid to shoot. I get ripped by my teammates a lot of times because I love to pass the ball. I may have 60 goals and I don't know how many assists, but
you're one of those
guys, right?
Playmaker.
So Dave Shipman is a guy that will take the shot, and I think his stats pretty accurately reflect
his hand movement when he corrals the ball and he actually moves the ball. I haven't seen many guys that can really do it to that level at that speed.
Yeah,
that is very impressive.
Yeah.
And one last guy I want to mention as well is Levi Hosey. 14 goals in 9 games for Mighty Pucks. We're sitting in 3rd. We haven't even mentioned them. They're also, as far as I'm concerned, not far from Killers and Ruthless, and he's having a heck of a season. I mean, 14 goals, 9 games.
I played against these guys in a gym league before I joined the NBHL back in 2009 or something like that. And you knew these guys were good. I saw them come out here, and this team is legit.
Yeah.
Levi Houzi is an elite player. He's surrounded by some other pretty solid guys too.
Yeah.
I think that's another team to look out for as well.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get some predictions here. Make some enemies. First of all, Frenchies, Monstars. Who's making it in?
Frenchies have Jordan Pineda, so that's huge for them. But I think Monsters are actually going to pull through because of the experience they have. If you go through the roster, you see all the guys. You mentioned him before, Mike Knopp. He alone can make sure they make the playoff just by being the player of the game for the last 3 games that they have, and they're going to win. So if they win those last 3 games, they're in the playoffs. I think that Frenchies are going to be looking out by the end of it.
Chris?
Monstars look to be playing some pretty good teams. I'm going to say that Monstars get into the playoffs and they surpass Montreal Rebels. I like Montreal Rebels. I think they have a solid roster, but I'm looking at who they're playing in the last 4 games. I think they're playing the top 4 teams. So I'm going to go ahead and say that Montreal Rebels are going to bow out of the playoffs.
All right.
The playoff picture, and Monstars are going to take that step to...
And the Frenchies would also stay in there.
And the Frenchies would stay in, correct.
All right, cool. Yeah. And then now, we mentioned, is this the year for Ruthless?
I want to say yes for David Mello. I really like the guy, but I don't think it's their year. There's too much offense on those other teams, and he's not going to be able to do it all alone to save them.
All right. How about you, Chris?
This is tough. I can legitimately see any of the top 4 winning it. I can't imagine playing that line in Discipline Daddies. They're my pick for
That's your pick
for the championship. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
he's going offense, man. You gotta believe it.
Going offense, but I mean it's a scary looking line here.
All right, guys. Normally I'd come to you for final thoughts, but we're kind of
we're tight on time.
We're tight on
Yeah,
time
for
here.
sure.
So let's go to the I League. There are 7 teams. Top 6 make it to the playoffs. We got Crazy Canucks, Silver Plows, both at 12 points. Parks and Lex at 11. Gold Diggers at 9. Fat Roy at 7, and then you got Deep Rock and Papashangos at 3 points and 2 points respectively. That's definitely going to be the battle for the final playoff spot. Obviously, the top 2 teams get a bye, and that's still up in the air. We're not sure. Let's go quickly. How about Vassal? Why don't you give me your surprise? If there's any surprises for you here.
The surprises, I would say, no, actually, the division looks exactly like it should as far as I'm concerned. There's not too many surprises. The Plows with their experience in first place, the Canucks with their talent. Sorry, the Plows in second place because they lost the game this week to the Gold Diggers, but the Canucks with their talent in first place. Park and Lex also a lot of talent. You know all those guys. Gold Diggers, good hard workers, 500 middle of the pack makes sense, and maybe the only minor surprise would be Fat Roy still trailing in the bottom half of the standings, but other than that, it's very steady. Everything makes sense the way it looks right now.
How about you, Chris?
I'm going to say the top 2 teams and the bottom 2 teams, as much as I hate to say it, are where they
should be.
They should be in those three middle teams. Like I might have expected the Gold Diggers a bit lower and Fat Roy to be in third.
Yeah.
Like a team like Deep Rock, a captain like Julian Fierro, he plays as a spare with the lads. Heck of a leader. It's unfortunate to see his team doing so poorly. But Crazy Canucks, like these are guys I grew up playing minor hockey with in the West Island, and I don't know how they made it into the eye. Like
That's
to be
what
fair,
I said the first episode. It didn't make sense to me. They're too good.
I mean, I think to me them and Silver Plows are where they should be. Silver Plows have a heck of a lot of veteran leadership too. Talk about a good captain like Jason Urquhart.
Yeah,
And a
he's
guy like Ryan
great
Knopp on
player,
that team.
Jason Urquhart.
Yeah, so
They had a huge loss though against Gold Diggers. Gold Diggers
Yeah, I
only
saw
had
that.
6 guys.
Saw that.
Six
Yeah.
guys. Silver Plows had more guys on the bench than Gold Diggers had players total, and Gold Diggers won 3-0
Gold
that game.
grind it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes that's all you
Guys
need. That's a
grind it
playoff
out.
game, right?
It's a playoff game, exactly. So the playoffs are going to be interesting, but I would think that the playoff picture itself is really going to matter come August 5th when Papashangos play Deep Rock for that last spot.
Which is probably the key matchup
It
that we have,
is the
right?
last game of the season. At that point, maybe none of them will win a game till then, but winner of that game gets
Is
to
in.
make it through.
They're playing them twice actually. The last
yeah?
2 games. Yeah, they're playing them.
Didn't know that.
I think they're playing on the 29th of July, and then they're playing on the 5th.
Even more. It's
playing each other
It's
twice.
a playoff
Yeah,
series
yeah,
to
yeah.
get into the playoffs. How often do you see that?
That'll be heated. A couple of other things I just wanted to mention, though, that I think when Fat Roy plays Crazy Canucks, I think Fat Roy, Costa Zafiropoulos is able to effectively manage his roster to a point where he might be able to neutralize some of their top players.
Yeah.
They have some guys that play really gritty style of hockey and really effective defensive game.
Right.
So I think that Fat Roy is the team for me in this division that might be able to give Crazy Canucks a couple of problems, and they still play them twice here. They play on July 15th at Ray Bourque, and they play on August 5th at 9 o'clock at the club.
I mean, strictly strategy-wise, Fat Roy have the best chance against Crazy Canucks.
I think so.
That's because we've played against Fat Roy, Dead Last, all these guys so
Yeah.
many times.
Yeah.
And you're right, Costa manages the bench, sends one guy out to watch the best player at all times.
Yeah.
And, I mean,
They're a
strategy
team
could win it for you.
Built around, I don't know if John Sanadakis is the goalie, but built around him for sure.
Key players, guys, and then we'll move on after this.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned them last time. Jeremy Savoie is leading the league in scoring. I see him easily taking the league MVP. And 2 guys I see standing out as far as defensemen. I said it before the season. He's second in scoring, tied with Jeremy Savoie. Jonathan Belzile, who Chris has played with several times.
Yeah.
He should be ahead for the Norris, but there's another guy creeping up behind him, Frédéric Guilbeault for Gold Diggers,
Yep.
who are they were depleted last week. This guy scored, I believe, it was the game-winning goal for them. He's managing their blue line, and he's creating offense out of nothing all the time. So yes, Belzile might have more points, but I think Fred is more effective for his team and more valuable to
Yeah,
his
he's
team.
having a really good season.
Yeah.
Anybody want to add, Chris?
For me, I mean, it's pretty clear cut with the big guns that Crazy Canucks have. But if you are talking about the blue line, a guy like Frank Gosselin for
Yes.
Crazy Canucks is a heck of a defenseman. Maybe a Norris type in this division. I know he's won it in a higher division before. So when you are going up against some teams, like Silver Plows that have some legitimate scoring threats, this might be a guy that could be huge.
Stands out big time.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So
sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
Is
go
his
ahead.
brother
Yeah.
playing, Nicolas?
Sorry,
Is his brother Nicolas playing?
I don't believe so. I saw them once. I'm not sure. I don't.
Yeah, very hard time telling them
yeah.
apart which one plays forward, which one
Yeah.
plays offense. But
I think he
the one
plays
goal,
with hand
12
fix. I
assists.
think he plays with hand fix a bit more.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Deep Rock Papashangos. Who's making in?
I want to say deep rock. Chris talked a little bit about Julian Fierro before.
Yep.
And he's a leader. He's a heck of a player. Leads by example, by his work ethic on the rink. So if he's able to elevate his game and lead them through it, I don't see him having a hard time with Papashangos.
Chris?
Nothing to take nothing away from Shane Pollard. I mean, he runs a pretty tight ship too, and I got one good buddy, Tom Bromby, who plays on that team, so he's going to hate me saying it, but I don't see Papashangos making the playoffs. Yeah.
All right. Well, I will see you in the playoffs. Jay, most interesting league for Chris,
Yes, sir.
obviously.
Yeah. I'm going to play tonight. I got a game in a couple hours here.
So let's wrap this up so you can get ready. Jay Lee, we've got the Kodiaks, which is your team.
Yes, sir.
At the top spot. Then we have the Beer Caps, the Outlaws, Dead Last, Huge Washups, Castor. That's your top 6. Those are the playoff teams as of right now. Then we have the Scorpions and Ghost Attack at 4 and 2 points respectively, fighting to get into that final playoff spot. Top 6 make the playoffs. Top 2 teams get the bye. Let's jump into it right now. Chris.
I say we as if I've been here for so long, right? Like the rookie's talking like he's been here. You guys
It's okay. We'll haze him later.
Yeah,
right,
you'll give me the pass on this one. You guys spoke about the first episode that there maybe was 4 teams that had those duos, and then the second half of the division is maybe a bit weaker. I can tell you guys firsthand that this division has gotten a lot tighter since then. We had Scorpions with their first win last week. My team's in first place with that many, I guess, that goal differential, but we've beaten teams Castors, like Castors 3-2. We beat Ghost Attack 3-2, I think. This division's going to be a lot tighter than it appears. And a lot of teams pulled away at the beginning, but I mean, it's turning into a heck of a division. So
yeah, I gotta agree. I mean, we had Huge Washups ahead of Dead Last time. Now Dead Last is sitting pretty at 6-3 and 4th place. They don't have any of the top scorers like Huge Washups, Outlaws, Beer Caps, and Kodiaks, but they've obviously elevated their game 5-0 in the last 5. I guess they're going to be a match for you guys coming up.
Big surprise? Anywhere?
No, I think I had mentioned it because it's the same makeup of players as Fat Roy, and they're all experienced, smart guys. I was surprised at how they were before, but 5-0 is surprising. I mean, with the teams in this division to win 5 straight,
it's not easy. You know what? Actually, I've played against several of these teams in past seasons, so I recognize some of the names there. And it's J League. Okay, it's not the top league, but still, there's a lot of quality players and a good tempo, fast pace. I find.
Yeah,
and you'd know better than me, Chris. Let's look in the playoff picture here. Kodiaks, Beer Caps, Outlaws, Dead Last. I think they're pretty much in at this point. Even Huge Washups as well. Castor, Scorpions, Ghost Attack. Two of these 3 teams will be unhappy when the season ends. Who's it going to be?
I've always been going to safe bet today, but I got to stick with Ghost Attack not making it this time. I just see them having too much ground to make up with so few games left.
The Dufour brothers can't do everything.
No, that's it. They're very good offensively, but compared to the other tandems in this league, they're not. They're great, but you're playing against Macon Guillemot and Jesse Goodsell, play university hockey, captain of the team, and they're the best in the division. They're mismatched, I would say, with such top-heavy teams. And I played against Castor several times, and they're actually. I feel like they're better than their record.
We're up 2-0 against us, man. Let me tell you, these guys hustle.
Yeah.
These guys hustle.
Yeah, they run, they're
and
fast.
I think they have a cheerleading section, if I remember correctly,
You
right?
mentioned that last time.
Yes.
You like
it marked me, man. I like it. It's good. It brings ambiance, and you want to win even more when you play against them.
Yeah.
So,
no, I see the Castor staying in, and unfortunately the Scorpions, the Ghost Attack looking out.
Okay, and how about you, Chris?
Yeah, I
same thing.
Sorry for agreeing.
No, it's okay.
I have to agree with that, seeing it firsthand.
Yeah.
I think in this division, though, that the first 2 seeds getting buys are going to be more important than ever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I'm telling you right now that whoever finishes 3rd, better look out.
Yes.
Because the 6th place team can definitely upset.
And they're going to be happy to make it in. They're
They'll
going to be very happy to make it in.
Yep. So no, I think it's going to maybe come down to one of those, we'll say 3 if not 4 teams. I'm not counting out Dead Last. They beat us. They gave us our first loss, right?
Yeah.
Played us pretty effectively, neutralized our offense, and played a good game. But I'm going to say that getting those buys are going to be huge, because I would not be surprised if the 3rd place team got knocked out.
I feel like this is a very grinding division. I think every win you get is going to take a lot out of you. It's going to be
we started off in the P division.
Yeah.
We're a new team.
Yeah.
We did really well. We got moved up, and we saw right away that this is not a caliber to take lightly.
Although there's so much talent, as far as the top scorers, every game is going to be a very hard-fought, gritty affair.
Yeah, absolutely. Any key matchups we haven't mentioned yet?
Yeah, I mean, it's not so much for the playoff picture at the bottom. It's more the battle of the tyrants at the top. I have Beer Caps and Outlaws playing tonight. They played each other in the finals. I remember a few years ago. They played each other so often, and it's the same team almost with the really, really, really big forwards, and then experienced guys that have played together a very long time. And my other matchup is Kodiaks versus Outlaws, which I'm sure you know a lot of the guys from Outlaws.
Yeah, we played them with Lads a few times, so
and that's
interesting.
That's in 2 weeks.
We're both yellow though, so I don't know if are we home
Jersey
class?
conflict.
You're gonna have to wear that pink, those pink jerseys.
I gotta love those. If they're washed, it's okay.
Well, they're like they have. I saw them over the weekend. They're stained like brown now,
Yeah.
so it's
I
really.
noticed that. It seems like a coffee stain or like
I don't
an
know.
oil stain or something.
I hope.
that must
I
be
hope.
it.
Yeah, that's it. Give me some key players, and if you have any other matchups, you can throw them out
Real
quickly.
quick, another game tonight is Castors against Scorpions.
Yeah.
I think they're tied right now in the standings, so this could be a deciding factor again on
Who makes it in.
Scorpions win. Look out, Castor.
Yeah.
And a couple other ones too is for Ghost Attack. If they are going to make it in, they play Scorpions on the 23rd, and then they play Huge Washups on the 30th. Huge Washups are an elite team in this division. Been slumping a little bit lately, but with a guy like Chris Cameron in nets, I'm not too worried about them. But I think for Ghost Attack, if they were able to pull out this game somehow, and the Dufour brothers
them
are
at
able
least
to
a
light
fighting
it up.
chance
Yeah,
at that
exactly.
point. Right.
Those are some key matchups.
Give me one key player each, and then we're gonna get out of here.
It's going to be tough, but key player or best player? Because key player for me is going to be Mitchell Van Gameren, MVG for you guys.
Yeah.
First place team, top scorer, putting up more goals in games is huge. But it's very hard to disregard Marc-Andre Alemant, who was averaging literally a hat-trick a game up until this week.
All right,
literally.
That's a good one. I only asked for one. You gave me a second one, but I approved because a hat trick a game is pretty
I was
good.
going to break the rules too. I have to admit, there's two guys in this league that stick out to me. I don't know, like with the points they're putting up, but I just can't believe that they're having seasons like they are. And that's Marc-Andre Alemant for Beer Caps and Stefan Trudel.
Yeah.
These guys, I think when you look at Alemant, he's got a bit more speed, maybe a bit more dynamic of the game. Whereas you look at Trudel, these guys know just to get him the ball, and he's a little bit more one-dimensional, but
Better
he still
hands,
gets
I
it done.
find.
You know what he's going to do, and he still gets it
you
done.
can't contain him.
So these two guys to me are far and away like two league MVP candidates, and like I think they could maybe set I'm gonna say records. I don't know what the record of points in the season is, but it's really scary the amount of points they're putting up.
Yeah.
Definitely. Two players you want to focus on if you're playing against these teams. Guys, it's been great. Guys, people who watch this, I'm sorry it was a little bit rushed. It's circumstances a bit out of our control, but it's okay. We'll see you in the playoffs, right? And that's the goal.
Hopefully.
We thank you guys for all your input, all your feedback and everything. Chris, thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys.
I'm hoping it won't be the last time. Great addition.
We'll let the veteran decide if he wants me back. Right?
We'll do a
there
survey. We'll do a survey after and check.
There will be some hazing. I'm letting you know ahead of time.
He gave me a break on the first one, right?
There you go. That's it. Exactly. Vasil, thanks as always.
Thank you, NBHL.
And thank you all for watching the third period, the NBHL's only and best podcast. I am Darren Basmujan. Thank you for watching, and we will see you here next week. But until then,
Good night, NBHL.
boom.